Hi everyone, Agnes here. I've got a wonderful success story for you today from Annabelle in the UK. It goes like this. I had been in the same job for the last 27 years, bored and frustrated. I looked on YouTube to find some inspiration to help me change my life. While looking through hundreds of videos trying to find this inspiration, one thing that stuck out was people doing videos on manifestations. However, these videos were about getting an ex back or becoming an instant millionaire, and I wasn't interested in all of that. I was more focused on getting a job. One day, while going through mountains of videos, a recommendation for Agnes came up in my feed. So I started to watch her video. I think it was something to do with getting back a specific person, but she was different from the people I have seen on YouTube, as this was a guided meditation. This method intrigued me, and I looked at what other meditations she had on offer, and I came across the meditation I was interested in. It was for a dream job. I did this meditation solid for about 2 months, but it wasn't working. I received offers for work in the industry that I had now left and refused to be dragged back. One day, while looking through YouTube, Agnes left a video about an opportunity to meet her and discuss any problems you were having about manifesting your desires. I jumped at the chance to meet Agnes, and I learned some valuable skills I could use to help me manifest my desires. These included scripting, gratitude, and speaking as if I already had my desire. Such as, I love my new job. I earn 3 times as much in my new job. Agnes also made me realize that without proper qualifications, it would be hard to receive my desire, which was true, as I had left school with no qualifications and had no desire to return to education under any circumstances. However, I was not defeated by this. I continued my meditation, but this time I used Ho'oponopono to learn to forgive myself, as I had felt I had let myself down. A few weeks later, while in town, I bumped into an old friend and asked what she was doing with herself. She replied she was doing a course at university and said I should apply. I laughed and said, no, not me. I'm not into all that stuff. Also, I knew I didn't have the qualifications, so my chances of getting in were 0. But she replied, give it a go. You never know. I left, but for the next week, I thought about nothing else except that course and getting on it. But how was that going to happen with no qualifications? Even though I knew I had no qualifications, I decided to go to the university to see what my chances were of attending the course. After a discussion with the course leader, I began to feel hopeful. She said with all my experiences in the field of healthcare, I would be welcome on the course and I should apply. So that night I went home and I applied for the course. I looked through Agnes's meditations and I found Living in the End. I did this every night for about 2 months until my interview. And I had imagined that the teacher I had met told me, well done. I have been accepted in the course. On the day of the interview, I could not believe my eyes. It was the course leader I had met the first time while inquiring about the course, and she was doing my interview. We talked and she asked me a few questions. As we had spoken previously, she said, you would be a welcome addition to the course. And I have been accepted. I could not believe my ears. The only thing I had to do first was to pass an entrance exam, and a place on the course was mine. I took the exam the same day and passed. I started the course 4 weeks later in September. At times I felt the course was way over my head. The first year was the worst and I wasn't popular in class, and some of the other students didn't hesitate to let me know their negative feelings towards me. The situation in class left me feeling nervous and upset. I spoke to Agnes about this as I wanted to leave the course. Agnes reassured me and told me not to leave. Agnes spoke to me about the rubbing out meditation. This was my secret weapon. I used this meditation every day for 8 weeks, rubbing out the most negative pupils in the class, hoping they would leave the class. I also did the whispering technique to help calm the problem every morning before I left for university. While walking to university, I would bless my fellow students with love and imagine them in my Ho'oponopono meditation. Once I had finished, I began my gratitude affirmations, followed by I am. After a while, I began not to care about the negative people in the class, and day by day, they didn't bother me anymore. To be truthful, I had forgotten about them, and I began meeting new people in the class and enjoying the lessons. Oh, this is lovely. Now, fast forward, and the year was nearly over. We only had an exam to take and the year would be over. I had never taken an exam before and was worried that this would be my downfall. So to calm myself, I started listening to Agnes's successful study meditation. Night after night, I would imagine myself wearing a cap and gown at the end of my studies. I did this faithfully till the day of the exam. Although I was nervous, I did quite well in my exam and passed the year as the highest scoring student in the class. Feeling pleased with myself, I continued with my gratitude affirmations, I am, and Ho'oponopono meditation. The class returned the following September for the new year, and to my surprise, none of the students that behaved horribly towards me had returned. The rubbing out meditation had worked once I had let go and not let them bother me. The meditation had manifested. Although the second year was hard, I continued with the successful study meditation once a week, seeing myself wearing the cap and gown at the end of my study. I also continued with my gratitude meditation and I am affirmation. This continued till the end of the third year. I was the second highest scoring student and successfully passed my course, earning a 2.1. I will graduate in a few weeks. I can't quite believe how far I've come from someone who hated school, left without a single qualification to my name. I really do believe that this was down to Agnes's free meditations that I am now able to apply for my dream job. Thanks, Agnes. Lots of love and stay blessed. Annabelle. Oh, that's so wonderful. It's so wonderful because Annabelle, there was a lot of bits and pieces going on along the way. So not only were you coming up with your, I haven't studied, I don't know what I'm doing, I have, all the inadequacies, but then you were also working on the dynamics of what was going on in the classroom and your own stuff around that. So that is absolutely fantastic. Well done to you. And you and I have actually said we are going to do an interview about this and go into it in a little bit more detail in a few weeks' time. So for those of you that are in a similar situation and need some inspiration, I will put exactly what Annabelle mentioned in her story down below in the description. And may you follow in her footsteps and bring yourself from perhaps not feeling good enough, inadequacy, into a wonderful result. And also, as in Annabelle's case, a fabulous outcome, not just to be able to finish, but to be in such high standing at the end of it. So really wonderful. Lots of love. And I now have a Zoom call, so I better go. Lots of love, everyone, and I'll see you in the next YouTube.